We always do.
Yep. Welcome everybody to Panfish Nation. Along with Mark, I'm Lyle, and Mark, what a bad couple of days I've had. It was awesome. We're driving up to North Missouri. Well, I got some stuff to tell you about.
Uh-oh. That's what we're going to talk about. Stuff we got to tell everybody about.
And that'll work. I noticed we got several people in chat. What do you say we go ahead and announce a few of them and get through that?
I would love to. Annette Morgan in the house. How you doing, Annette? There's our buddy Avid Fisherman. How you doing, Avid? There's Cat Life Outdoors. Miss Chrissy Brown, you and Ernie are in our prayers. Hopefully he'll heal up real quick from that nasty virus that he's got. Fishing with Squirrel. What's up, Dawson? There's Michelle over at It's All Mine. The tried and true Joe Buck 66 here. Speaking of which, there's Maurice Kaysen. How you doing, Maurice? You've also been in our prayers. There's our buddy David Martin in the house. What's up, David? How you doing? Chucky Morgan just showed up. There's Betty, a couple crosses fishing. How you doing, sis? What's going on? Mike Irvin in the house. Paul Boyd from P&B Catfishing. What's going on, Paul? There's Robin C. She's a channel supporter. Thank you for your support. Lyle greatly appreciates it. He can continue to pay me the high fees that I charge him. Take down Catfish and Mr. Kenneth Powell. I'm trying to talk. Kenneth has been having internet issues all week, and he's the co-host and the host on Hog Leg Show, and then Kenneth has his own show 2 nights a week. Trying to talk him into hosting one tonight. We'll see if we can get him talked into that.
Absolutely.
That's me putting the pressure on my buddy Kenneth, the legend. Paul, how you doing, Kenneth? There's our buddy Josh, the Weekend Angler. How you doing, Josh? There's Valerie Irwin. How you doing, Valerie? Let me scroll through this list again. I got Betty, right? I know Dee's watching in the background. How you doing, Dee? And I'll bet you Katie's watching with James, so hello to them too. Guerrero Abagre. I like saying that name. What's up, Guerrero? There's Laura the Explorer. How you doing, Laura? What's up, dear? Let's see what else we got here. I think we got everybody. If somebody pops in during the show, I'm sure Lyle will holler him out. He's better at that than I am.
We tried our best, and we miss a few, but we don't intend to.
Lyle, we had some warm weather here today. I don't know how to feel about that. I was just getting used to the cold weather, and then it turned warm.
We left yesterday morning. It was very brisk here, and I drove to North Missouri to fish with James Dockery.
I'm sorry.
Oh, what a great time we had! We really did. We went down to fish one of the docks that he tries to beat the roof off of, and Cindy and Katie and Jolene, they got cold and went to the truck. The wind was blowing 90 to nothing, and a front had just come through and it dropped the water temperature, and all the fish moved out to deep water, and we couldn't get to them. And we didn't have a real successful day. We caught fish, but not like we was expecting to, and that's okay, because James and I stood on that dock with that wind blowing and that cold weather, and we visited all afternoon.
I have a theory on that. Before I give you my theory, we do want to shout out Tim Molina. Chrissy just informed us that Tim's family keep in their prayers. He said he had a death while they were on his.
Sorry to hear that.
Will, definitely. Okay, here's my theory. You ready, Lyle?
I am.
Dockery didn't take you to his good spot. He purposely took you to one of his so-so spots.
He actually took me and showed me where it was at. The good spot was at.
We're not fishing there, Lyle. I can't. Yeah. We can't fish there.
Well, I couldn't fish there. To get to this one place that he took us, you have to crawl over a bunch of great big old rocks that they pulled in there, and I'm not walking over that, taking a chance on falling.
No wonder he keeps breaking his foot.
No kidding. But there's where the fish is at, and he showed us several spots of places that he didn't hit the dock roof one time. It made me feel bad. He should have had a longer fishing rod. But like I say, I sat there and stood there and visited with him. And finally, it just got so cold that I looked up at him and he quit fishing. I said, "Are you ready to go?" He said, "Yeah, let's go get something to eat." So at that point, we went into town, and his beautiful daughter had got us a room at a really nice motel there in town. And she come down with her daughter and another little girl, and had dinner with us. And afterwards, we went to the motel, and we was sitting there BSing, and Harley showed up.
Oh Lord,
So my day was complete.
I
You
know it
know,
was.
James and Katie have got some of the greatest kids you ever want to be around. Jolene is just a sweet little girl, and Bree and Harley, they're just great. And Harley is as cool as I thought he'd be. He really is. He walked right up out of his truck, walked straight to me, give me a big old hug. Um, they have a great family up
He
there, and we know
obviously
Dockery catches fish. We know he catches fish. We just hit it on a bad day.
well, he obviously takes after his mother.
Harley,
Harley does.
absolutely, man.
100%. We want to get that clear. We want to make that perfectly clear.
But I had a wonderful yesterday was great, and the plan was to get up this morning and go visit my brother and Cindy's mom, and something I ate didn't agree with me this morning. Well, I struggled throughout the day, but Cindy got
We don't need to know that part of it.
no, she got to see all the people that we went to see, and we'll go back up there with me to visit them in a week or two, and uh, she ended up driving me another after driving 2 hours to Bowling Green. She drove another 3 hours to Camden, and I drove in. Uh, I got to feel a little bit better afterwards, but yeah, the whole weekend was really good. Other than that, and most of the time I do all the driving, but when I don't feel good, she takes care of it, and she did, and that's how things are supposed to work out. But we did have I yesterday made up for the whole thing.
Hmm. It's good. You guys sent us pictures. I seen the one of you guys sitting at the table. It looked like you guys were at a pretty fancy place. Was that at the hotel? Where was that photo from?
Yeah, that was at the motel.
Oh, it looked like a pretty nice place.
I gotta tell you, we got there and we was waiting to meet up with James and Katie, and Cindy needed to go to the Walmart store. Of course, there's one right beside the motel. I mean, right beside the motel. Walmarts are everywhere, kind of like Dollar Generals. So she's in there, and my feet are all swelled up from driving, and I didn't want to get out and walk through Walmart, so I'm sitting in there, and I look up, but I checking messages to see if you guys had sent me any. I look up, and there's Dockery in front of me taking a picture of me sitting in front of a Walmart, of course.
How come I haven't seen this picture yet, Dockery?
Um, I give him the one finger salute, and he come over. That's how it started out. We was in the parking lot going at each other. I bet people think we're completely crazy, but it's okay. We had such a great time.
You guys always have a good time when you guys are hanging out
We
together.
do.
It's
We
always
do.
good to see.
Yeah, we talked. James and I could have fixed the world's problem on that dock yesterday if people in power would just listen to us. We can fix it. I know we can. Kind of like you and me before the shows.
Exactly. I understand.
So how was your fishing?
It was pretty good. It was pretty good. Last week I went. I did really well. I went solo on that trip that time, and the crappie were just starting to move into the channels. So I got on a good bite last week. I think I brought. I try to keep my share of the fishing to 15. The one of the lakes I fish at has 15 fish limit, so I kind of keep it there wherever I fish around here. So the lake I went to last week and the day before yesterday has no limit, size or creel.
Wow.
It gets to be, you can get a lot of fish on a good day at those spots.
Yeah.
So I keep 9 inches or better and try to keep it at 15. But the day before yesterday, I took a friend of mine who gets out and he crappie fishes like maybe once a year, twice a year at the most. I think he got hooked after Wednesday or Tuesday, I think it was. Um, so he's got he's got his girlfriend that lives with him, and he has 6 boys that live with him. So he's got a lot of mouths to feed in that house.
Heck yeah.
I'm like, well, I went into the day, woke up in the morning. It was windier than heck. It was cold. It was 29 degrees when I woke up. I'm like, oh, maybe I should just stay in bed. I'm looking at my messages, and my buddy Tony says, it's windy as heck out there, and it's going to be cold. As soon as he told me that, I took that as a challenge. I'm like, challenge accepted. I go 5:30, be here. That's all I replied to him.
Yep.
If you're not here by 6, I'm going without you. So he shows up 5:30 on a dot for sure. I thought he wasn't going to show up. I really did. Usually when you got a fishing buddy and they start questioning the weather, that's a good sign that they're not going to show up.
Most of the time, yeah.
Yeah, or if they ask the magic question, how long are we going to be out? And then you know that it's going to be
Yeah, they don't want to go.
or they can't be out there as long as they think you're going to want to stay out there.
Right.
It is what it is. So he gets here. We get the boat all loaded up. It's cold as heck. I throw the heater buddy in there. I put three 1-pound canisters of propane in the boat. We're ready to go. We stop. We pull up. I go to fill up the boat with some good old Petro at $4 a gallon. We'll talk about that later. We're not going to get too messed up. And I noticed that my prop is bent, Lyle. Well, it turns out that the last time I went fishing, the week before where I did real good, I forgot to pull the transom saver off of my motor before I backed into the garage. And I knew it was there, but I tried to get it nice and close because I got a little curb, like a little bump to go into my garage.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't get up past it, it's hard for me to get it over that little crack in the driveway. And I hit the wall. I got a piece of plywood against my back wall. And I didn't even think to check the prop. I'm like, oh, whatever. I got out of the truck, lowered the motor. And I didn't notice it until we were at the gas station at 30 degrees outside and filling up with that gas and stuff. I'm like, well, we're going. I don't care what it is, what's going on. So I got a wrench out of my toolbox, straightened it out the best I could. And, I'm actually kind of impressed. Maybe there's a future for me in the prop business. I eyeballed that sucker pretty good. Got her straightened out. We were back on the road. We got out to the lake, and the wind was howling, Lyle. I posted a picture of what that water was like out there. The lake we fished, without naming any lakes, Luke Henges is trying to get me in the habit of not naming places I'm fishing at, so I'm going to take his advice. Is a big, huge, open bowl for the most part. And that wind was coming across there right at that boat ramp. And we had 2-foot rollers coming in on a little Channel Lakes lake, which is a small lake, but it's still wide open there. It made like what's behind you look like child's play, to be honest with you.
Nice.
So we get the boat launched. It's a lot easier with 2 people, I'm finding out, because I always launch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get it launched, and I head right for one of the channels, which is literally I want to say 1/4 mile from the boat ramp. And the plan for the day was hit that channel, see what's in there. And I really wanted to shoot all the way across the lake onto another lake. All the lakes here are attached on the chain, which would have been like a 5-mile ride. But we got on the fish so well in that channel, it was ridiculous. This channel is still full of weeds, still full of growth, and it was gin clear. And we weren't seeing any fish. Couldn't see them on the side scan. Couldn't see them on down imaging because the weeds were still that thick. I'm like, well, I've been in this position before. We're going to try it anyways. So we went back into the corner of this bend in a literally 90-degree bend in the channel. And we were getting on some fish in there, some decent ones, all around 9 inches, maybe a couple 10s. So we got about, 10 or 12 in the box after an hour or so. So we go down to the opposite end of the channel. It's nice and quiet. There's no wind back there. Nothing, not a bite, anything. My buddy caught a little dink bass, I believe. And we're like, all right, we're going to make the trek across the lake onto the other lake and into the channels there. Well, the reason for going to those other channels, that's where I get a lot of my big crappie there. But there's like a 3-day window in the spring, a 3-day window in the fall. It's either all or nothing at that spot. So, and I didn't have any intel to prove otherwise. So we're pulling out of that first channel, and we look out onto the lake, and it got worse, Lyle. The flags that were up in the corner over there were ripping and hauling. You can hear them like tearing. It was blowing so hard.
Wow.
I'm like, well, we're not going to do that. So let's stop right here. So we stop and we're fishing back in that corner. And my buddy Tony throws it out into the center of the channel towards the wind. Well, that wind, was making waves even in the channel like this. And that turned him on. Holy smokes. It was double after double after double. It was one of them days where you just look at each other and you laugh and you don't know why well, you know why you're laughing, but you're laughing like some silly little kid just got too much sugar for breakfast. That was pretty much what it was like.
I love them days, man.
Yeah. I mean, and he didn't have like the high end setup or nothing. He just had himself I believe an ugly stick with a cheap old Shakespeare reel and some Walmart line on there, and he was killing them just as good as I was. That bite
That's
was so.
good.
Well,
Yep.
it turns out we were pulling them out of the weeds. They were down there hiding in the weeds because the sun had come up already a little bit, and it was so cool to see that little bit of flash 2 feet down right before the bobber went down. That was a lot of excitement. It's like, all right.
Yeah.
So we did pretty good. So we ended up with 60 fish, 59 black and one white. I
Wow.
don't know why that happened, but they're all blacks we got on there. And that lake is well known. Every year somebody that reports it gets like a 3+, almost like a couple guys have gotten 4-pounders through the ice. So there's big fish in that lake up there.
Sounds like it.
It's
Heck
not
yeah.
too. So it's a hidden gem out here. So I was thinking about getting out there again today, but I couldn't get out there. I had some puppy problems yesterday. Like Brian B told me in a chat today that man, them puppies sound like they had a blast yesterday, and they did. So they kept me busy. I couldn't get the boat ready because I needed to change that prop out and do a bunch of stuff. Never made it, but I got that stuff done today. Um, and I might get out tomorrow. We'll see, but I'm worried about that weather, changing weather. It's supposed to be 70 degrees here. See if that'll send them back deeper or get them out of the channels because
Yeah,
they're
it's
like,
gonna be 80 here tomorrow. So
yeah,
I,
that's
I would like to welcome Finn Seeker in. Downtown Ernie Brown has joined us. I think you said Parker Pursuits, but he's in here. Um,
I see
there's
Dan Thompson,
Dan Thompson. There was one more that I can't remember.
Sunfish Assassin.
Still another one.
Let's see.
Creole.
Creole showed up. He just got home from work.
Yeah. So welcome everybody. Glad to see you in here. But yeah, 80 degrees is, I don't know how many days. I'm trying to determine how many days it will take to push them back in to the water they left for the 2 or 3 days of cold weather we had. And I'm thinking 2 days, and they'll be back in on the third day.
You gonna head back up there?
I'm probably not going to go to Dockery's. Probably going to go over here and fish some of the stuff we got local to me and see if I can get on any of them.
Well, we were getting a lot of short bites, a lot of them that were just kind of letting go, and I'm pretty sure those were some bluegills. We did catch a couple of bluegills that we didn't keep, but they were decent size. So the plan was if we didn't get on any more crappie, we would just go after the bluegills there. I was using jigs I got from you, the Betty Jean collection.
Right?
Using those. I was using some that I got from Crappie Stopper, which is Kim Burnett, and some of Crappiezilla Plastics. I was using that, so they all worked pretty well. I highly recommend all that stuff. So
I tried a bunch of different ones yesterday. I never got a bite. Like I say, when we got there, James popped two bluegill right quick. We was after crappie, but who's going to turn out a good bluegill? I mean,
this is true.
and then he caught one out in the deep water. And come to find out, I had broke off the reel I was using too many times because to get even close to where he was finding them in the deep water, I run out of line on that reel. It'd been broke off too many times.
Was
Which,
it 1,000?
yeah,
Yeah, I learned that the hard way too. That's how come I've been buying nothing to either 2,000, even a 3,000.
yeah, I had another one at the truck, but I'd already walked up that hill a couple of times. I didn't feel like going up and getting it. So I
Yeah,
did.
I understand.
Hello, Tom. Welcome to the show.
What's up, Tom? How you doing, bud?
But yeah,
It, it, it-
that's a beautiful area they got up there to fish.
well, Missouri isn't. It's not like. Well, actually, it's pretty beautiful where I was fishing. I can't complain because I'm up in northern Illinois. When people say, and Chad always picks on me, saying I'm from Chicago. I'm really not living anywhere near Chicago. I'm 40 miles out, so I'm a little bit out. And I went up north about another 25 miles, so I was way out of city.
Isn't 40 miles close enough though?
I, we were not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that.
I'm what 500 from there, and I feel I'm close enough.
Not even in the same state. Anyway,
I don't know what it is about Chicago and Gary, Indiana. I just have no desire to do it.
it's my home
Florida,
now. It's what I know.
yeah, Florida's another thing. I have no desire to go to Florida.
Aside from politics and stuff, it's a good place to
It
live.
probably is. It probably is.
I don't have blue cats like a couple of places. I
That
don't
would
have
be a
fish like.
downfall for me. I would have a hard struggle with that.
Well, they're there. If anything, I think it's made me a better fisherman. The struggle's been real.
Sure. I
You
bet
know, I got a
you've
lot
got
of local.
Mendota pretty close. I mean,
Mendota is close, and I'm definitely since I had to cancel my Bama trip for no other reason than I just can't make it. I think I might have to go up there. I'm thinking maybe a 2 day trip. We'll go fish the Wisconsin River one day, and then I'll fish Mendota the next day. And
what
I'll
is it
probably.
Luke says?
I'm sorry.
What is it that Luke says? Ooh.
Ooh,
Yeah,
there's
2 days of Mendota. Wowzer. That
Chad.
would be awesome, man.
So I figure I'm going to try and do that. We'll see what the weather looks like if it holds up. I'll be chasing if I get on that Wisconsin River. I should be up there next week, but the bite down here is too hot to have to drive up there because them river crappie on the Wisconsin River are pretty darn good. And they're a lot more size to them, but not as the bite is a little. There's less, but better quality. So, but that's a 2.5 hour ride for me. So
That's not bad.
I can ride, 40 minutes or 2.5 hours for the crappie. But if I head
Yeah,
up there,
and it wins every time.
I'll spend half the day chasing your favorite fish, sturgeon.
Hey, that's up to you.
They
They
do
make
fight
you
hard.
happy.
And then of course, if I get on to Mendota, there's two fish over there, actually three that I would well if, I want to go after the big walleye they have there, definitely.
Do they have
Obviously,
burbot?
on Mendota's got big walleye.
Do they have burbot?
They don't have burbot. Burbot's in December. We'll go after them in December. We'll drive up to Milwaukee. That's like a 2.5 hour ride for me as well, just a different way. We'll go there, but it gets off. It's so cold out there on that big lake. That's okay. Here's an idea of how bad it is out there on the shores up in Milwaukee. I caught the last one time I went out there. I caught five nice burbot. Right, brought them home. Delicious fish. Um, we were out there for 2 hours and I had those five fish and I couldn't stand it anymore. I didn't make any more videos because it was so cold that my GoPro kept freezing.
Wow.
It was that bad. There was like 35-mile-an-hour winds howling in off that lake, and there's nothing stopping it on that lake. If you ever
Yeah.
get a chance to be on the shores of Lake Michigan at night, it's like staring into the abyss. If there's cloud cover and it's dark, you've never seen darkness like this outside in your life. It's ridiculously dark and cold.
Would it
But
be worse in the mountains in Colorado at night with cloud cover?
I haven't. Well, actually, I have been over there. Yeah. There's nothing that reflect anything on that water. Nothing. It's like staring into nothing, Lyle.
My kind of place.
So that's the plan for bourbon as far as it goes. But that in November we'll make some trips up north, hopefully, and get there. I also want to get up on Pentonwell. I got all these places I want to fish before they freeze over. Pentonwell's pretty decent lake up north too, even through the ice. But that's kind of a ride. So
Well, let's touch on something there. You're talking about it freezing over. I really, unless we have a really bad winter, I don't have that issue here. Once every few years, the lakes will freeze over. It
can
doesn't
somebody
last
send
long.
Lyle an emoji for me, please?
But when and for how long do you freeze over? As just a general.
All right, here where I live, I'm like right on the ice fishing line for the most part. At least that's what I think about it. We might get an early freeze up where we can fish like on 4 inches of water that'll scare, or 4 inches of ice, which will scare the death out of you for sure. But
Absolutely.
4 inches is pretty safe ice, so to speak. No ice is safe ice, people. Remember that.
That's right.
But we'll usually get a thaw, and then in January it'll lock back up until the end of the year. So we'll get 2 months here. Further north of here, up in Minnesota, they're starting to get snow and stuff. Northern Wisconsin, they're starting to get those temperatures where it could start. So
Thank you, Josh.
thanks, Josh. So that's what it is. We'll see. I was going to shut down my bait tank today and make room for my ice gear. I didn't get a chance to do that, but that just tells me that as much as I hate ice fishing, I'm still going to go out there.
Well, it's still fishing. It's still better than sitting on a couch.
It sure is. And Lance says he's going to try for some early burbot this Saturday. Well, good luck, bud.
That would be early, right?
That would be pretty early. They spawn a little later. I get a report from a couple guys I met up there on the bank. Sometimes my buddy Ryan over at Setting Hooks will go out there in the boat and he'll let me know if the bite's on, and then I'll head up there. So I appreciate the help from them guys. So
Keith WC Reed has made it in chat. Welcome, buddy.
How you doing, Keith? What's going on? But it's basically it's like catfishing for the most part. They're bottom feeders. You fish for them with not cut bait, but dead bait, like minnows for the most part. Some golden roaches up there with egg sinkers instead of no rolls, little lighter tackle. I got a setup here that's, got fluorocarbon on it, which I should change this year. But that's
Do you need help shopping for some?
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
For those of you that don't know, James Dockery and I have helped Mark shop. And all we need to do it again is access to his credit card.
No, let me tell him the story. You're not getting access to my credit card. Not in your life.
Need it for an hour or so.
First off, that woman I sleep with would kill me in my sleep if I did that. Second off, you guys had changed my shipping address to James's. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, that would be funny. Hello, Lee Evans.
Lee Evans, what's going on, buddy? What happens is I'll be like just thinking out loud and saying, "Oh man, I need to get some." What did I just buy like last week? Some flicker minnows or flicker shad, whatever they are, shallow ones. And right away, Lyle and Doc are like, "Oh, bring it up, pull it up." I'll be like, "Oh, whatever. I got to buy them anyways." So I'll put like 2 in my cart, and they start talking me into every color that's made. By the end of it, my bill goes from like $12 to like $60 in no time.
But when we can do that for an hour, that's when it really works.
Well, it brings you guys so much joy that I let it happen. Lyle.
You have no idea how much it is.
No wonder I'm always broke.
Dockery is still smiling about it 3 or 4 days later.
Yeah, he is. And then if I catch fish on this stuff I order, they're like, "See, I told you. You guys need to trust us more often." I get from them.
I can't believe you would ever say that about James.
I didn't say anything bad about James. That isn't true.
Nothing. It wasn't true.
So that's what usually happens there. So I've been kind of cutting back on the tackle purchases and stuff. It's definitely a habit of mine. It could be worse. I keep telling my wife I could be spending the nights at a tavern somewhere, and I don't. So.
Yeah, or on cars that go to racetracks. That's worse.
Well, wait till I get my next boat. That could change.
That could. You any closer to that?
No.
James and I help.
You can't help. You cannot help with that. You're already sending me all these
pictures all the time.
Freaking Lyle. I know what I want, and that's what I'm shooting for. My buddy Rich, he's a good friend of mine, and you guys will never see him on a live stream with me ever.
That's
probably one of my
bad.
best friends, but he's worse than Lyle and Docker as far as it comes to not being able to be in public with the man, let alone on video.
Oh my!
It'll never happen. He already bought boat show tickets. He's ready to go spend my money at the boat show too.
Bless his heart. I do need to meet him. Mark, one of the things that I'm looking forward to is if we get the bad winter that is possible, fishing with James will teach you how to fish from docks. You can learn the tricks that he uses, and they should work no matter if you're in his area or my area to catch fish off of docks. Now, we have a dock over here that I'm kind of excited about. I've been putting it off. It really gripes me that they would charge me $2 to go fish this dock. But if I could catch 30 crappie a day,
Not $2.
it's not the money, it's the principle that they're
I get
charging.
it.
Yeah. But
We actually have a great fishery here called Three Oaks that used to be a quarry. Great fishery. It's all catch and release, which is one thing that I have a problem with. It's not a pay lake, but you do have to pay $5 to park, and there's nowhere else to park to get in there.
see what I mean? There ain't nothing right about that.
Well, it's owned by the city. It's not owned by the state or the federal government. So the city, it's pretty much an oversized park, is what it is, and they just charge $5 for parking to get in there.
Wow. Well, I guess that's not all bad. It just, the fact that they charge you because your tax dollars, that's like the Corps of Engineers. Your tax dollars pays their salary, pays for all the work that gets done on the rivers and the lakes and stuff that they are over, which they should have nothing to do with.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to pay to launch a boat. What's up with that? Yeah, I'm already paying for to be built into your salaries. That should be enough.
That lake that I'm talking about, when they first opened, the first 2 weeks was free just to get the local residents here, introduce them to the place. Man, Lyle, I went in there. I was throwing some rapalas. I caught 15 pike in that lake and 6 smallmouth all in like 2 hours. It was crazy.
That's another subject we need to touch on just a second. You talking about pike. Do you consider them panfish?
No, I consider them pretty good eating, though.
Okay, well, the one I caught I would consider panish. It wasn't very long.
Yeah.
But they do get to be really good. And that was the other end of the question was how good at eating are they?
They're good.
There's some people both ways.
Yeah, but some people like pike better than anything. The people who know how to fillet it and they get that back strap off the top. Well, they do the 5 fillet method where they fillet like the one back strap off, one tail behind, like right at the back. They get a fillet off near the tail. They get a fillet off the bottom of the Y bones on each side, and it comes out to 5 total on there. And the people who do that, they'll usually fry them up. I've had them like that, and they're pretty darn good. Those Y bones, if you're frying them up, they'll melt in the hot temps and stuff. I'm gonna try. It's been a long time since I had pickled pike. I'm hoping to try that. I actually got a recipe from Luke Henges. He sent me a recipe to try. He swears it's the best one, so I'll take him at his word since I've been eating that redfish magic, which is the bomb.
Luke Henges is a really good cook.
I haven't eaten any of his cooking, but so far he's batting 1 for 1, so he's batting 1,000.
Hey, Jody, welcome. He had a cooking show that he done for a while on YouTube.
I did not know that. I heard he did that.
Yeah, he did have that cooking show, and I watched it religiously. He cooked up some really good-looking stuff. I'm not sure why he quit it. Something Daddy. I don't remember now the name of the show, and then he done it right there at his house, and yeah, it was pretty good. He done that, but he knows a lot about cooking different things and spices and stuff. So,
Steve Ransom brings up a valid point here. He says if you have to pay $5 to park and suddenly you have to run to the restroom, it's worth $5 if they have paper in there.
If they have paper in there.
This place is pretty nice, Lyle, to be honest with you.
That would be good.
Air Run in the house. What's up, Air Run? Lyle already said hello to Jody. I'll say hello to Jody too. What's going on, Jody?
And Steve.
Yeah, I guess if it's got amenities like that, it's a good way of thinking about it. But
like I say, you spend they take your tax money regardless whether you want them to have it or not. They're going to get theirs. So they take it and they build these lakes and they build these docks. They build the boat ramps out of the money that they take from you. You should never have to pay to launch a boat. You should never have to pay for anything that has to do with that lake because you're already paying taxes for the gasoline and the tires and the automobiles, everything it takes to get you there. It's just another way to stick in your ass, is the way I look at it. But I'm just an old man. Who knows? Did I
Yes,
tell you
sir.
I had a good time at Dockery's?
You did say you had a good time at Dockery's, and I had a good time
I
with
can
my.
see Chad back there in the background.
I had a good time fishing with my buddy Tony until we had to put that boat on that trailer in those 25-mile-an-hour winds. That was a nightmare.
I can't get over how much trouble you have with that little boat getting it on a trailer, but I
It's
know you
you
do.
No, it's the fact that I like to think of my little boat as the biggest little catfish boat on my river, right? I got
Biggest little catfish boat on your river.
On
Okay.
my river, I got a 30-pound anchor with an anchor winch. I got an Altera trolling motor. I got, God bless, multi-bars on the back of that thing. 40 horsepower motor, loaded with gear. I got all the electronics. I got a 7-inch in the front. I got a 10-inch on the console, Garmin. And it all adds up after a while, especially those batteries. I got 4 batteries in that boat. I got 3 AGMs, and then I got the one lithium, the good folks. And I'm going to have to do one of these shout outs to Amped Outdoors. They take good care of me with that. But everything adds up, and I'm not a little boy either. Put 2 men in there, it adds up.
It does. It does. And there's a weight restriction on those, or you only get so much. But
Hey, it ain't sank yet. I'm okay.
there you go. Have you got any free board?
Be safe. Don't listen to me. Wear your life jackets, folks.
That's
But if I can get the boat like partially up on the trailer and I can get it hooked up to that anchor winch, it goes up pretty easy. But when that ramp that I'm on had a 2-foot drop off at the end of the short concrete pad, that's where the problems come in. Because once that trailer, which is like the entry level trailer I got like the cheapest one that came with my boat. It was a used boat, so I didn't have a choice in that. If it drops down into that little drop off, the boat's just going to float all over the place, and I kind of needed to get it up there, so we had to do it in like 2 different things and then get the boat straightened out. It was quite the task, but that's another reason why I might not go there tomorrow. If the wind's bad, I can't get that thing up on the trailer myself. That was the second time I needed help putting that sucker back
you have
up.
hip boots?
I'm sorry?
Do you have hip boots?
I do. I have muck boots that I use.
Well, the ones that come up to your waist,
No, I don't wear those.
those things will help you if you're having trouble getting on. I've had a duck boat that, when the wind got bad, was like that. We had a blind on it, caught a lot of air, and I would have them on and get it up on that way. Because then I always had a dog, old Remington. He was my duck dog, and he was wanting to be out. If I was in the water, he was in the water. So you got, whatever you're doing that boat trying to load it, he's right there in the way trying to help you. So. But yeah, I used to keep a pair of those in the back of the truck just for them reasons. But you have to watch the bottom of them boat ramps. People understand that they are slick. There's moss underneath them, and you will bust your butt in a hurry if you're not careful. Welcome, Danny Stone. Good to see you in here tonight.
I learned that the hard way. I didn't get hurt, but I sure did get wet, and it was a long ride home soaking wet on that boat from the boat.
Don't matter how good the heater is, you're still miserable.
You're still miserable, but now I'm pretty good. I'm good at grabbing a hold of my pickup bed and making sure that I kind of get a feel for what the bottom's like, and it hasn't been too bad. And those muck boots, I have to say that they got pretty good traction even in the wettest and coldest conditions. So.
Solo Texan Adventures, welcome. Glad to have you in here tonight.
In the summer, I got a set of Crocs, and not your standard Crocs, but these are actually Crocs made for kayaking. So they're fully covered, they're mesh covered, and I fish in those usually in the summer, and those are great for getting that boat in and out. You can walk in there into the water like it's not, and they dry in no time.
I have a pair of Crocs.
I got a pair of Crocs too. I got Crocs.
They're lining Crocs. They have a liner in them.
I got them too.
And your feet stay just toasty warm in them. I love mine.
My wife, who just came in here, bought me some Crocs for Christmas. I adore them to death.
For this year's Christmas? Isn't that a little early?
Last year's Christmas.
Oh, okay.
Last year Christmas. She takes good care of me.
She must.
Yeah, David Martin says, get a ladder. It's a lifesaver. That is on the purchase list for the next boat, David. Definitely.
Absolutely. And if you buy a new boat, it don't cost that much more to have the ladder mounted on the back of that. I think that should be factory equipment for every new boat sold, because they just come down. It doesn't take nothing to let them things down. You can crawl right back up in. If somebody's there to help you, that's great. If not, you still can get in that way. Ladders should be mandatory on boats.
I think those are well, like on the Lunds, they got emergency ladders that are built in all of their boats. The ones that you get, the higher end ones, they got them built on there.
What
And
are you talking about?
weren't you just saying nice things about Parker before the show started and
What?
Saturday's event? And then look what he says about you.
I'm not going to take them things I said back, but I probably should.
I would if I was you. Yeah, David's talking about the ladders in the front, the
I got
trailer.
to get one of them.
Those are sweet. Something about backing in and dropping the tailgate and then walking right off of them steps onto the tailgate, not having to get wet in the
Here's
winter.
the thing with me: my hips are bad, my back's bad, Cindy's knees are bad. You just make it easy to get in and out. And the reason why I don't order a set of them, I got two sons that are welders. I used to weld all the time. I sold all my welders when I sold my shop. But I'm thinking we'll get together one of these days and we'll have a step building day for old dad, and we'll build a set of steps for the front of the boat. Yeah, I know it'd be cheaper than the $500 or $600 they want for them, but I can only screw around so long, and I'll have to purchase a set.
Yep. Another thing that I recommend, I know a lot of guys who have them, they're called grottos.
I don't know what that is.
They go up in the front on the nose of your trailer, and when you drive your boat up, it instantly locks it into the spot.
Yeah, Dorado. Yeah, I want that
grotto.
too.
That's not grotto, Dorado.
And that stops. I think Doc ended up getting set one of those, but you just put it up there, and when it clicks, you're locked in.
You're good.
All you got to do is make sure that you have the side to side part right, and you're gold.
Well, you get that trailer learned, and you know where to stop on the bunks or whether it's on a roller, whatever your visual
boat in is a key, or the trailer in is a key.
Yep, you get it not too deep, not too shallow, and it's usually an easy job.
Yep.
I got mine down. It takes me a little bit to get my trailer backed in, but I get it right up against that dock when I'm putting a boat on a trailer, and I'm able to reach over and hook the anchor, the trailer winch right onto the boat, and it's a done deal. Then with the self-centering rollers that I have and stuff, it's pretty effortless.
David said 3 steps, $429.
Those are definitely on the list of to buy for the next boat.
Absolutely, yeah. And like I say, the ladders that goes on the back of them so you can crawl in if you fall out or whatever. I think any new boat that's sold should have one on it.
You know what I wanted to do, Lyle, since I got that Altera and the remotes are waterproof, I always thought about hooking up an inner tube on the back of my boat and just driving it around from the inner tube, have it pull me around the water. With a fishing pole.
Sure make for a good video, I promise you that. Be sure, yeah. Be sure to put a bungee on the handle of that hitch. It will bounce and come loose while driving.
Which hitch is that, Steve? Those. Well, I think he's talking about the Dorado. They got that switch on them. Even though you got a Dorado on there, you still need to hook up your winch and you still need to hook up your safety.
Absolutely, yeah.
Don't leave the boat ramp without them. That's just a convenience thing to get you up the ramp and into the parking lot. So, yeah, he was.
Yeah, the auto hitch.
Yeah, that's all you use that for. Don't forget to use your safety chains.
Yep.
Always, and make sure you strap the boat down in the back.
Yeah, mine has safety. The regular strap in has a safety strap where it can only go back like 6 inches. Because man, there's nothing be worse than going down the road and that thing come off and slide out in the blacktop in front of somebody.
That's happened to a few people that we know.
Yeah,
unfortunately. I just saw a picture of somebody who got their brand new Dynasty T-bone the other day, and that would be a nightmare too. My boat came off the hitch just not too long ago, maybe a month and a half ago, while I was heading down to the river at like midnight. Thank goodness there was some explorers. They're like the young men who are police in training. They actually pulled over, and all 4 of us were able to get that boat back up on the hitch. So that was good, but that scared me to death. And it wasn't any fault of mine. That pin, I had gotten a Reese pin, had bent when I went over a pretty drastic bump in the road, kind of a hump in the road going across the street. Scared me to death.
I'm trying to understand what Steve's talking about. He paid $350 for one and made two trips to the lake and took it off. If he's talking about one of them Dorados,
Maybe he is. Maybe he
I
don't
would
like it.
like to know why he took that off, because I think that would be very cool. Doc's the only one I know that's got one though.
I know a couple people that got him here. I know
If I
one of them that
could-
that it broke on him, but he's kind of rambunctious, so
well,
could have been operator error.
if that happens, that's on you. You know, let's face it. But yeah, but I guess that is what he's talking about. He says, "Yep, wow." Well, if you still got it, let me know if you're interested in getting rid of it, because I'm looking for one. I really am. I think they're a cool invention, and if they don't work, they don't work. But if they do work, that'd be a home run for me, because I seen Cindy fall one time trying to get down, and she hit that moss on that ramp trying to get me hooked up and hurt her back and legs and stuff one time, and um, anything I can do to prevent that from happening again, I'm all about, because I don't like her down there where it's going to be tough loading, and she's really good about pulling the boat out. So if I can keep her from having to go down there and crank that crank and getting that slick stuff or in the water, then I think that would be a better deal. So yeah, I'm going to get one, especially for this time of the year and colder.
Yeah, now's the time where you really got to stop and think how you want to launch and load your boat up
That's
this time of
fact.
year, because you don't want to have to get wet this time of year. Jerry says, watch the guy last fall back into the Mississippi. His safety rope broke. Good thing current sucked it close to the bank. Not sure what he means by
Wow.
safety rope. If it was that safety chain, so
I'm guessing it was the rope that they had, like an anchor rope or something. That
there you go, Lyle. Let me help you spend your money. A catfish weekly TV at gmail.com, Steve. Send it to him, give him a good price, and we'll talk him into buying it for him from you. You're welcome, Lyle.
Thank you, sir. I was typing it in anyhow. So
Okay, there we go. There's Lyle's email right there. Mhm.
but yeah, I like I say, um, I'm past the time for, if I can prevent anything like that from happening to me or Cindy, either one, then I'm okay with it.
I don't like fishing in the rain. I don't like to get wet. I worked outside for 13
I
years.
don't either. I don't like the wind,
Yeah.
but sometimes you don't know the wind's going to come up, and it does, and that's what happened to us yesterday, and that's okay. Like I say, I understand Katie going to the truck when James is fishing, because she don't want to listen to him anymore. She listens to him all the time, so she goes up in there and reads a book. He's fishing. She's got quiet, peace and quiet, and that works out well for her. Um, but I couldn't get enough of it yesterday. We just had such a great time. But the girls all did go back to the truck. The wind was so bad they didn't stay down there very long, and it was a cold wind. It really was a cold wind.
Yeah, that wind will suck the life out of you. It usually does. So make sure you're dressed. We'll do a cold weather fishing show here.
I think
coming
we
up
need
in-
to and need that coming up, and um, preparation for cold winter. Just get ready, because it's coming. There's nothing you can do about it. Even though we're going to have 80s for a few days here
Mhm.
down here, the cold weather will be back, but we're not done with warm days either. We're going to have a lot. It's going to be mixed up for the next month or so. Um, Usually up until December in my area, you'll have warm and cold and warm and cold. Just pick the day you want to go.
Yep.
Um,
Water's still going to be cold even when you got to warm up. Our water here was 47 degrees the other day when I was out.
One thing that you talked about earlier today was weeds are still alive in your area.
Yeah.
Are you finding bluegill and crappie in those weeds?
Yeah, they're definitely hiding down in there, especially in the gin clear water I was fishing the other day. They're just not out there in the open.
Right.
David says he had that auto hitch catch. He says he doesn't trust those things. He's still hooked up the strap.
Absolutely.
You can do that. If you got one of them 3-step ladders too, there's nothing that says you can't hook that chain up before you leave the
I agree.
Back
Here's
up.
another good comment. Jerry says, guys, in the river solo launch back boat in fast, slides off a trailer on its own, have a rope attached to the trailer and boat. I've done that before when I used to fish by myself, and I would use the anchor rope and I would throw the anchor up on the bank and then have it the other end of it tied off to a cleat. So when you backed her in real quick, you stomp the brake, it slides off, hits the anchor, pulls back up, but you got to stomp on that anchor. You can't just throw it up on there, expect it to hold. You have to stand on it where make sure it'll hold.
You
And
know what
then
I do, Lyle, is
pull it up.
on the back of your pickup truck, they got the tie offs in your bed.
Yeah,
What I do is I tie the end of my anchor rope to there,
that
and
works
then
too.
and then I just kind of coil it up in there, and then hook it up to the front of the boat, and it pulls it right out of the truck real well. And I
David
do
says,
that every time I launch.
yeah. David said y'all need to put a tent up over the ice and fish, build an igloo, and do a show. That's fine if Mark wants to do that. I am not,
I'm
but
doing it if Lyle's going to be there with me.
I'll be there in spirit. How's that?
James would do it. I know he would.
He probably would. My buddy Van, V3 Customs, Kentucky. Welcome, sir. I thought it was always cold at the North Pole. I'm confused. I really don't know about that. Do you?
I know what he's talking about,
I
but
know what he's talking about, too. Hey, that's a great idea, Keith. Thank you so much. If you like our shows and what we visit about, please hit the thumbs up. If you really like it, please subscribe. And if you really, really like it, there's a join tab underneath where we're at, and you can hit the join button. And we would love to have you in our private groups.
here's an idea. Parker says, David, you'll never get Lyle on the ice unless shrimp is involved. I can have a trail out to the shanty. How's that sound, Parker?
I don't think that's going to get it done either, but you're going to get close that way.
Put a shrimp every couple of feet. He'll follow it right up.
Indiana, Chris, welcome.
What's going on, Chris? How you doing?
For those that don't know, that's Chris Usselton.
Yes, it is.
And he changed his name. So if you didn't realize who that was, now you know.
I'm part of the reason he changed that name because I used to call him Uselton.
Yep.
It's Usselton.
Yep. I'm glad to have him in chat. It's always a privilege to have him in there. We got 42 thumbs up and 40 people watching. Not too bad.
Not too bad. If you haven't given us a thumbs up, please do so. We'd appreciate it. Definitely.
Absolutely. We're running about an hour mark, which is usually about where we go. What do you have plans for the weekend?
For the weekend, I hope to get out and fish a little bit. Other than that, we're going to do some family stuff. I need to get out and see my dad. And we're going to play it by ear. I got all the maintenance stuff done on my boat. If I can't get out to fish, I won't. I'll spend my time doing fishing stuff, like getting that bait tank put away, maybe making some room by swapping it out for my ice fishing stuff in storage, just so I got it here at home. Other than that, I took care of the boat stuff today. I got a new prop. I put the new prop on the boat. I got the oil changed in the boat. We're ready to go. Other than that, maybe make some plans for that trip up north or down to see Josh. So we'll see what happens.
That trip to see Josh should be a lot of fun. It'd be about the same as seeing Dockery, I think.
And same as seeing you too.
Oh man, we have somebody that needs to leave.
Yeah, I'm doing that right now.
Got him.
That was probably Dockery in disguise, anyways.
Maybe so.
I'm sure the mods in there will take care of it too.
Yeah.
How about you? What do you got planned, Lyle?
Well, not sure. Tomorrow, for those that haven't been up to date on the situation, we bought our refrigerator was needing to be replaced. We bought a refrigerator. They put it in. It had the water valve leaked all over the floor, ruined our laminated floor. So now we got a new refrigerator that the ice maker don't work, and it's ruined my laminated floor. So a guy's supposed to be here tomorrow to
Let
look
me
at
stop you right here. That's not exciting one bit. Let's hear about that new smoker you got. What are you going to do with that this weekend? Forget the refrigerator.
I tell you, I smoked them Boston butts last weekend. I'm still eating them. I told Cindy the other day, we get a lot of lunch meat because just me and her, we sit here for dinner. A lot of times we'll have a sandwich or something. I said, that pulled pork is so much better than any of that lunch meat we buy.
I
It
agree.
really was. But I'm wanting to do a brisket. I don't know if I'll get that done this weekend or not. The guy's going to be here tomorrow to take a look at our floor and our refrigerator and try to get that fixed.
Good deal.
And I need to get the I've got everything. I figured out, Mark, on my boat to take them power panels out to check the flotation that's in the back of it. I got to take all the stuff out of the back. That's one piece all the way to the very back. So all the batteries and all that stuff's got to come out of it. I need to get back on that and get it done. But I really want to go over there and try them docks out. But if there's a bunch of people over there, I'll make the trip over there for nothing because I won't sit there and fish if there's a bunch of people over there.
Yeah.
I just don't want to be around them. It's not that I don't want to be around them. I just don't want to be around them.
I don't know what to say about that.
Yeah. They don't know me. I don't know them. I don't want to know them. They don't want to know me. If we get the pushing and shoving over a spot, then it's going to be an issue. I'm too old for them issues. I'm really am too old for all that stuff.
This is why I like fishing out of a boat. I ain't got to deal
That's
with
right. You got to do
bank
nothing.
stuff.
And then you can just pull up the anchor and take off.
David, I'm sure Chad's either watching on the big screen or he's gotten or he hit the sack. He's had a long weekend.
He works a lot of hours and he goes in early. So Chad goes to bed early, bless his heart. And by the way, Chad and Josh and I will be doing Catfish Weekly Monday night. If you guys haven't got anything to do, please stop in and join us. We'll be doing another session on rod building. We covered reel seats and rear grips and fore grips last week. We'll probably go on making the area for the decal this time, which will be wrapping some of the thread on there, and maybe we'll get to some guide wraps and stuff. We'll just have to see how much time that will allow. And then right after we're done, Mark with the Catfish Crappie podcast comes on Monday nights.
I got a great guest on Monday, Lyle. I'm going to brag about this for a minute. I got Corey Beachtold from the great state of Minnesota. He is the owner and proprietor of where's the Makula tackle. Great bunch of stuff. I love those new jigs that he came out with. He's really a guy who's working hard at trying to make his idea succeed. Everything from getting patents and win. He wins a lot of tournaments up there. A lot of crappie and catfish and bluegill tournaments up there. So I imagine we'll have him on here shortly after that too. But I'm really excited about talking to Corey on Monday.
That sounds like a fun show. Looking forward to it. Then, of course, we'll be back next week right after the bait shop with
we got a show planned out. We're going to do we're not going to talk about it yet, Lyle.
Yeah.
We're going to get it worked out, but we got an idea that I kind of had and Lyle thought it was a good idea and I need
absolutely.
him to
But Chad and Freddie will be on the bait shop. I don't know if they'll have a guest or not. They've been having a lot of guests there lately, so maybe so. You can always go in there and make fun of them too.
Yeah, I usually do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of not fun when Chad goes to bed early because I can't make fun of him from here.
Yeah, I'm so excited about him and Dee getting that big boat going. And I know they had a problem with the steering cable last weekend, but that has got to be so comfortable for them.
It's only money, Lyle, and
that's right. He's got that Chad Fields money. So,
mm-hmm.
But that bigger boats are better boats. They just are. They are. And if you got a one person and nobody goes with you hardly ever, you don't require a big boat. But once you have one and once you've been in one, it's hard to go back. It just is. But nothing replaces room on a boat. It's kind of like building a garage. You know what you got, but you got to envision what you're going to buy for the future, and that's how big you make your garage is what's coming in the future. Same way with the boat. You may just fish 2 or 3 times a month, and you don't need a really big boat, but you got to envision at some point, am I going to want to do tournaments? Am I going to want to do this? Am I going to want to do that? Am I going to want to take people with me? So then you're up to an 18, 20, 22, 24-foot boat. You can't replace base. You just can't.
Agreed. Agreed. I don't think I'm getting a 24-foot boat.
Yeah, you just don't. You're afraid it won't fit in your garage.
It won't fit my garage, and I ain't
Mine
keeping
either, but I don't. I wouldn't take one.
it.
Thank you, Kenneth. But yeah, it you just can't replace them. We've had 24s, we've had 22s, we've had 20s, we've got an 18. I mean, the bigger they are, the more comfortable they ride. I think, and V bottoms, of course, ride. They got the best ride. They just do. Flat bottoms beat you to death, and if you have a bad back or you get older, you'll notice that more and more. So,
I'm a young man. I don't know what you're talking about.
well, I can tell you from experience. So thank you, Joe Buck. We appreciate it. Glad you guys enjoyed the show. Hope everybody did. Mark, you got any closing words?
Nope. Go fishing. Be safe. Stay warm. That's about it. We'll see you on Monday Night Catfish Weekly and my show directly after that.
That's a great closing. See everybody next week.